What's up, you guys? Welcome to Fightful. Sean Ross Sapp here with Jimmy Van in Canada, talking more figures. And a series or video that we've had a lot of requests for, it's LJN Black Cards. We've mentioned you have the most robust, complete collection of LJNs. Please explain to me, what are black cards, why are they important, and why do people care about them so much?
So this is probably the most popular and the most sought after set from the LJN collection. It's Series 6. It's the last series they ever did. It was in 1989. And the reason that they are on black cards is LJN sold the rights to a Canadian company called Grand Toys. This last set, Series 6, was only available in Canada.
Okay.
Could not get it in the US. Some of them that were produced were brand new figures to the line, and some of them they basically had leftover inventory they wanted to sell, so they put it on a black card. And so it's become really popular. I'll show you some that were new, some that were re-released, and I have some stories behind them all. So obviously the most popular figure of that time was Hulk Hogan. This was a re-release version of Hogan. They had the original one that they produced in 1985. This was a re-release where it was a new sculpt, bigger version. He's got the shirt on, and they actually produced an earlier version exactly the same as this 1 year earlier for season 5 on a blue card where he was wearing a white shirt.
Okay.
This was kind of the more traditional Hogan look,
Yeah.
with the red shirt, the red headband, the red and yellow. So this was only released for the black card series, and this is again where I want to talk about customs. I've seen people try to peddle off a custom with that figure on a blue card. To my knowledge, it did not exist unless it was a one-off variant. Because remember, I talked about variants in another video, and sometimes they use whatever tools they had in the factory, and they would just produce it. So I've seen one picture of one on a blue card. I believe it was a custom because this whole line was done for Grand Toys on black cards. So, but that's an example of a new one that they made for this line. Another example of a new one that they made for season 6 was the Ultimate Warrior. Bit of a bloated warrior.
Yeah.
But this is another one of the more popular ones from this line because it was created just for Series 6, only released in Canada on the black card, and so that makes it a little bit more rare. And if I turn this around and show you the back, they've got other figures on the back that they never actually produced because they went out of business.
With not actual pictures of the figures, just pictures of the wrestlers.
Pictures of the wrestlers. Yeah. So if I turn this over, they've got Bad News Brown back there. They've got Brother Love back there. They released Acts of Demolition, but they did not release Smash.
Okay.
And there's other examples of that. But funny enough, no Killer Khan. And Killer Khan's not on any of them from any series, and yet they were planning on a Killer Khan. But so this is an example of one of the new ones that was released as part of that series. Then, and some of these have become rare because they didn't make a lot of them. Like I said, they re-released existing inventory on a black card, and this is an example, Ted DiBiase. This is maybe the most rare of the black card figures because they didn't release a lot of them. They used a Hulk Hogan card. All of the re-releases used a Hulk Hogan card for the most part.
Okay.
Probably, again, because it was just extra inventory that they wanted to sell. And so that's an example of it, and I happen to have, as rare as this one is, I happen to have two. And as far as I know, these are the only two that exist in the package. I haven't seen any others. Yeah, I haven't seen any other ones. But that's an example of a rare re-release. Another one that is...
So hypothetically,
Yep.
if somebody were to say, Jimmy, what would it take for you to part with those? And has anybody that's maybe famous asked you to part with any of these black card figures repeatedly?
So I have an old Facebook account that I used to use for LJNs only under an alias. Don't use it much anymore. I might log into it once a quarter.
Yeah.
And when I log in, I will have messages saying, will you sell me some of these black cards?
Yeah.
I just had one again from the same guy that's asked me probably half a dozen times, will you sell me one of the Ted DiBiase's? I'm just not interested. I like it and I'm not interested. At one point, I'll show you another rare one. This was a re-release of Adrian Adonis on the black card. And what made this one unique is they did it on the collector's Hulk Hogan card.
Okay.
Because again, it was probably just what they had on hand in terms of inventory. And Adonis, if he wasn't already passed by that point, it was not long before he passed.
Yeah.
When this one was produced. This one's pretty rare. I used to have two of them. I sold one and I regret it. Wish I hadn't have. But
Why do you regret it?
Because they're so rare. Like I only know of two or three Adrian Adonis is in the package.
Yeah.
And so I kind of wish I had kept it, but that's another one. Now, one example of a re-release where they actually produced the card of the person is none other than the Macho Man Randy Savage. So here is the Black Card Randy Savage from the Black Card series.
Iconic figure too. Like,
yeah, there's another Black Card Randy Savage, and I got two. And if you're wondering why does he have two, this is on the re-released Hulk Hogan card, and that is on an actual Macho Man Randy Savage card. And like I said, it's one of the few that I've seen where they actually had the card produced for the figure. So this is another one.
That is, to me, one of the most famous wrestling figure poses of all time as well. Like, you'll see it all over the place. Like, it's just, it's an iconic one.
Yeah, and Matt Cardone has asked me many times about this. He's offered to buy it a couple of times. I will say in his defense, he wants it mint, mint, mint.
Yeah.
This is not mint, mint, mint. It's got some wrinkling on the card and whatnot, so maybe he wouldn't want to buy it anyway, but he's offered a few times. I won't sell it. It's the only one. I've seen a couple Randy Savages with the card, but not a ton. So I will never sell it. But that's that one. And then, of course, I want to talk about my first ever favorite pro wrestler. This was another re-release, but it was a re-release where they changed it. And that's Andre the Giant. So the previous Andre, the one with the long hair that we've talked about in another video, they made another Andre later with short hair, but it was still wearing the blue trunks. Yeah. They re-released this as part of the '89 series in the classic singlet.
It's my favorite Andre figure in that line.
Is it?
It's the one, because it's the one that I remember. It's WrestleMania 3 Andre is what it is.
Yep.
Which I was not cognizant, aware, around for, but like, it's the one that I would see for years to come.
Yeah, this is the classic Andre, and this one is on an Andre the Giant card. So this one is not the Hogan re-release. They actually gave him his own card. So that's an example of where they took an existing figure, repainted it, and re-released it as part of that line. So that one's cool. And then one other one I've always liked that was new to this line, not a re-release, is the Big Boss Man.
A legend.
Yeah, I've just always liked this one. I mean, I've just something about it.
The hefty version of Big Boss Man.
It's a big action figure, and came with a Billy Club.
What an incredible figure.
And this one, again, was on a Big Boss Man card, not a Hulk Hogan re-release card. So this is known as the Black Card series from '89. Like I said, released only in Canada at the time through Grand Toys. Very sought after. And you'll see them on eBay, depending on which one it is, to go for hundreds or thousands of dollars each.
Incredible. And he was, as they say on the Major Figure Pod, very toyetic. Like, you create a cop like that, like as a figure, and like if you're buying that figure, you can use it for other things besides being a pro wrestler as well if you're a little kid.
Exactly.
Incredible figure that is. But Jimmy, anything else you want the people to know about Black Cards and any misconceptions or anything like that?
So I'll probably say this till I'm blue in the face. If you're a collector, make sure you do your due diligence. I have seen many custom figures tried to be peddled as a legitimate, they call these mint on card when they're in the package. I've seen several recreated figures, and two that are often talked about. One is Bam Bam Bigelow on a black card. And if you look at the back of this, there's no Bam Bam Bigelow there. So they probably had no plans for it, and it's a custom.
A Bam Bam would have been an incredible LJN figure.
They did have a Bam Bam, but they had him in a previous series with a blue card. They did not re-release him on a black card, to my knowledge, unless again it was a one-off. Otherwise, they didn't do it. There's also been a lot of rumors that they re-released Elizabeth on a black card. I've seen pictures. I don't believe it was ever done, unless again it was a one-off at the factory. But I've seen a lot of people display them, claim it's legitimate, offer to sell it for a lot of money. And people that I know in that world, in the collecting world, they believe they're custom. So if you are a collector that wants to get these black cards, do your due diligence before you buy them. Make sure that you're not buying a custom. Jimmy, we thank you as always. Guys, if you like this video, we have a whole bunch more figure videos, LJN videos, and FightfulSelect.com has a bunch of figure haul videos. How about this? You subscribe to FightfulSelect.com and you want me to send Jimmy a message about buying his figures that he'll say no to, I'll at least relay them if you subscribe to Fightful Select. Until next time, my friends, we're out.